this one's wife. Harry. Help! I'm thick. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. In the preceding video, you have been treated to seeing Harry attempt an American accent and demonstrate that he came across as a bit of a moron as a consequence of his appearance on Hassan Minaj's podcast. Apparently, this seems to be some attempt to cause Harry to be relatable in a way that this one's wife is always attempting to tell everybody that she is relatable. Unfortunately for Harry, it just reinforced what terrible decisions he has made in the last few years that has found himself fall from being a prince of the realm engaged in royal activities to now schlepping about on podcasts, having been made a fool of. In the video after this, I'm going to detail to you quite why this decision to attend on this podcast demonstrates another set of very poor decisions by the Sussexes. But before we get to that, you can get another sense of the idiocy of Harry as a whole, and also the ridiculousness of going on this podcast, which has done him no favours whatsoever. One wonders who advised him to do it. Did he think it was a good idea? Is this Meredith Maines thrusting it? Maybe this one's wife suggested that he do it also as part of the overdrive that they've entered into recently with regard to seeking publicity. Now, we all know that the Prince of Pink Pancakes is not exactly the sharpest knife in the drawer, that he's not the most intelligent individual. One of his tutors had to help him cheat to get a grade in relation to one of his A-levels, and he didn't actually pass the threshold for admission to Sandhurst, and favours had to be pulled in that regard. He is a bit of a thicko. Indeed, even his own mother referred to him as being thick, which she recognised that she wasn't particularly bright, but at least she had the ability to know that she wasn't. One of the most dangerous things in the world, of course, are thick people who don't realise just how thick they are. It would appear with Diana that she at least realised that she was fairly clueless and therefore didn't go down the route of thinking that she knew things when she didn't. One wonders, however, in relation to Harry, that he doesn't necessarily realise that he's as stupid as he is. And we all know that with this one's wife, she thinks she's far cleverer than she actually is as a consequence of the way that her narcissism operates. But you're now going to see another excerpt from the podcast with Hassan Minaj, which doesn't do Harry any favours and demonstrates that he is thick and completely out of his depth. Have a look at this.
This one's heavy, Harry.
Because the other ones haven't been.
What do you think of this Charlie XCX Taylor Swift beef?
The what? Oh, no.
No, this is serious, because was Charlie's diss track even a diss track? I mean, to me, Sympathy is a Knife was about something completely different. But then Taylor comes back and I think escalates it with the actually romantic thing.
Now, I should imagine that you smelt the burning there as Harry's brain went into overdrive trying to understand what Hassan Minaj was actually talking about. You could hear the cogs grinding and whirring as somewhere a cuckoo clock was going off. Does not compute, don't understand. It was evident that Minaj was making a reference to a topical beef between Charlie XCX and Taylor Swift. Swift, I know of. Charlie XCX, I've heard the name, but can't say that I could point to any music from that particular individual. Nevertheless, I recognise both names. And it's evident that there's been some kind of diss track, as has been referenced by Minaj. Now, I wouldn't claim at all to be down with the kids, far from it. But as a consequence of having an ability to absorb information by osmosis, it would appear at times, and the fact that I have considerable intelligence, even though I might not know specifically what Hassan was talking about, I would be able to gauge what he's referencing, and I would be able to explain, I'm not familiar with all of that, you'll have to explain it in greater detail for me. And that one would essentially negate the threat that's posed by not understanding by admitting as such, and perhaps pouring scorn on those particular cultural touchstones as being irrelevant in one's life. But it would appear that Minaj might as well have been speaking Mandarin for the look that came across Harry's face as he started off grinning, and it was swiftly replaced by complete uncertainty. He hadn't a bastard clue what Minaj was talking about. And you could see, as the camera started to close in, there was almost this, what? I don't understand. What's he talking about? Words, no, they're not meaning anything. I just don't get it. Blinks a couple of times, stares in the hope that some kind of comprehension will come, but it doesn't. Minaj keeps going. And then you'll notice that Harry, he doesn't know what to do. He's so dense, he doesn't even have the ability to scramble for some kind of response. So what does he do? He looks off to the side to his helper, to his handler, to his PR agent, as if to say, you've got to help me out here. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Should I answer this? Should I not answer this? Help me. Help me. Oh dear. We know, Harry, that you're a bit dense. And in some respects, some people might view you as likeable. But here, this just made you look culturally bereft. So despite your wife claiming that you're cool and trendy, you're clearly not. But moreover, your complete inability, just like your wife, to think on your feet. Underpinning that you're not bright, that you're not clever. You hadn't a clue what was being said. And rather than admit that was the case, you just sat there like a rabbit in the headlights, stunned, as your brain ground to a halt, started to overheat, and then you nervously looked to the side for some kind of assistance. Harry, if you thought your appearance on this was a good idea, whether your publicist told you to do it, or perhaps more likely your wife told you to do it, it wasn't a good idea. It made you look stupid, even more stupid than we know that you already are. It was a complete failure, and people have ended up laughing at you for your dim-wittedness. Well done, Harry. You've just reaffirmed just how thick you are. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for watching.